My 2025 season came to an abrupt end, and let me tell you, it was not a good one. This year I only won 14 matches compared to last year where I won 56 times. And yet somehow I made more money in 2025. So in today's video, let's see how that's even possible. All right guys, welcome back to the channel. It's that time of the year again where we're going to talk money. At the end of 2024, I posted a breakdown of how much it actually costs to play professional tennis, or how much it costs me to play. And that ended up being my most watched video of the year, which is crazy. And it says a lot about, YouTube culture. But as I'm not competing anymore this year, let's talk about it again. Just a quick recap, 2024 was my best year on tour by far. I finished the year 258 in the world. I was really close to getting to those Grand Slam qualifying spots. I finished the year with 56 wins and 21 losses, and yet I still finished the year about $12,000 in the red. So here's a crazy kind of number. In 2024, I earned in prize money $38,052. In 2025, I earned $38,258. So basically only $200 more. That's interesting because in 2025, I played not even half the matches I played in 2024. In this time, I also dealt with 2 injuries. I haven't competed since early August, which means I'm losing basically half a year. And statistically, it was the worst year of my career by a lot. I don't think I've ever had a losing record in any of the years I played tennis. But because I played less, I also spent less, which means I actually turned a profit this year. What? From the beginning of the year till August, my last tournament, I spent $14,563 on travel. Flights, hotels, accommodation, transportation, little things, food on the road, all that kind of stuff. So on paper, net, I actually made $23,695. Man, what should I even do with all that money?
Maybe I'll buy a city.
Now remember, tennis players get taxed in the countries that we play at, so the prize money number that you see, next to our names on the ATP website is not exactly the number that hits our bank accounts. So that 23,000 number, it's a little bit more like, let's say 13,000 give or take. Now last year's video somehow summoned all tax experts on the internet. They all came to tell me that the expenses are tax deductible and that you shouldn't be paying taxes if it was already taxes. Guys, I get it. This is not a finance channel. We're not gonna go over the nitty and gritty, of every single dollar that's coming in and out that way. It's a complicated thing. I pay people to take care of that stuff. So let's not get bogged down with financial jargons. What does matter is figuring out how the hell did I win more money while playing worse and winning less? And there's a simple answer. This year, I only play ATP Challenger events or ATP Tour level events. The only future I played was a local future here in Los Angeles, but I did not travel to any futures. I strictly competed on the ATP Challenger and Tour level schedule. And let me tell you, compared to the ITF circuit, the Challenger Tour and ATP Tour is warm water, sunshine, life is good. Now the level is very high, it's difficult to win a lot of matches, but from a logistical standpoint, the costs are much, much lower. And that's because in ATP events, both Challenger and Tour level, hotel costs are covered. In Challenger events, if you're in the main draw, you get a minimum of 5 nights comped. ATP events have different rules, but if you are in the qualifying draw or main draw, you are gonna get a hotel comped as well. And since I started the year with a good ranking, I played main draws of every challenger I competed this year, so I barely had any costs in hotels and accommodation in general. And that alone cuts a huge chunk of our expenses. If you're able to get a cheap flight, all you're really gonna spend on is food. And on top of that, prize money is also a lot higher. Most challengers will pay over $1,000 even if you lose in the first round. So if you win a round or 2 at a challenger, you can actually turn a small profit, but a profit. Now, obviously it depends from player to player. A lot of players are traveling with coaches. If they're paying for that out of pocket, obviously their expenses are double basically. But in my case, because I mostly travel solo, I was able to make a little money here and there. Another reason why I made a little bit more money this year, despite my results, was the fact that I played 3 tour level events. I got a wild card for the qualifying at the ATP 500 in Rio. I lost first round, but the prize money was still $5,300 $175 for that one. And I played another ATP 500 in Washington, DC. Again, I lost first round in the qualis to Mutip, and that one paid me $2,800, which is actually kind of low if you compare Rio to DC, right? There's some weird difference in prize money there. And then there was Geneva, ATP 250, where I actually qualified for my first tour level event. I was actually in the same draw as Novak Djokovic. That's pretty crazy. And that's where I earned what I think is the biggest paycheck in my career. It was about 6,390 euros. So in 3 events, I basically earned a third of my prize money for the entire year. And weirdly, the injuries, I had a shoulder thing early in the year, then the calf, and then obviously now the shoulder again, helped me save a little money. Fewer tournaments, fewer flights, fewer weeks of burning cash. And guys, just a quick break to thank today's video sponsor, Caldera Lab. I just turned 32 years old. 25 of those I've spent under the sun playing tennis, and that has for sure taken a toll on my skin. Fun fact, men's skin is actually thicker, so regular products don't cut it. And that's why I use Caldera Lab. It's engineered for guys like us, so my skin feels and looks healthier no matter how many matches I play. This right here is the Light Regimen. New lighter formulas formulated with proprietary exosome tech for rapid skin renewal. So here's the routine. You start with the clean slate, a gentle purifying cleanser designed to lift away buildup, balance oil levels, unclog pores, and support visible skin clarity. Step 2 is the eye serum, a concentrated eye serum that moisturizes and visibly improves the 3 most common eye concerns: lines, dark circles, and puffiness. Step 3 is the Great, an advanced renewal serum powered by 150 billion plant-based exosomes per application for 20 times improved absorption of plant actives, so you see better results. Clinically proven to visibly reduce wrinkles, lift, and firm skin. And lastly, the Hydro Layer, a lightweight moisturizer clinically proven to deliver deep hydration, improve firmness, and visibly reduce fine lines, wrinkles, and the look of pores. Caldera Lab is high-performance skincare engineered for men. And they make it super easy to stay consistent with your skincare, which is the hardest part, especially for us men. If you want to try it out, get yours at calderalab.com/Karue or use code Karue at checkout and you get 20% off your first order. Go check them out, link in the description. So now that I've been playing for a couple of years, you guys have been following, from the futures to the challengers to even some ATP events. It's clear to me that becoming like an ATP Challenger Tour player consistently is a must if you want to survive in pro tennis. Basically becoming top 300 in the world, you'll be most likely in the main draw of most challenger events you play. The main goal is always to become top 100, play the Grand Slams. But when you're only competing on the Challenger Tour, financially, it's somewhat sustainable. The ITF Future Circuit is incredibly expensive. There's almost no hospitality compensation, the purses are smaller, and there's a lot more out-of-pocket spending. The level is obviously still pretty high, but financially is a lot less sustainable. When I look back at 2025, I know I should have played more 25Ks. They are still a good value in terms of points. I tend to do well in the future circuit, and for someone who didn't get a lot of momentum this year, it was probably the smart idea. But the financial incentive to go play challengers it's strong. For example, in my last tournament of the year, the Challenger in Chicago, I was actually signed up for a 25K in Mississippi. So I was waiting on both lists to see if I was gonna sneak in the main draw of Chicago, the 75K. And as it kind of came to a point where I noticed I was going to get into the Chicago main draw, I could either pull out and just stay in the future, or it was automatically gonna pull me out of the future once I was in the main draw of Chicago. But the reality is the week playing the future would probably have cost me like $2,000 to $3,000. While in Chicago, I think I spent like $500 for the flights, a little bit for food, and that was about it. And this is the kind of decision players have to do constantly, year round, just figuring out, do I go play some futures? Do I continue to play challengers? Sometimes you have to sacrifice the money for match play, momentum. Our guy from Life on Tour, Dane Swinney, has been crushing in the future circuit. He's won like 70 matches this year. I don't know how many futures he's won at this point. He was playing consistently in the challengers, felt like momentum wasn't there, went back down to the futures to regain confidence, and he's gained a lot of momentum, he's built a lot for 2026. I'm sure he's going to be playing a lot more challengers, but it's a battle, right? You have to decide what kind of makes more sense to you. I wanted that challenge to play in the Challenger Tour while I was still competing in main draws. Might not have worked out as well as I wanted to, but that was something I put in my head. I wanted to test myself at that level. I'm in a unique position as this tennis player slash creator hybrid thing. At this point, I'm relying on my partnerships, not really in prize money to make a living. Anything I earn in tournaments is just going right back to expenses and, paying coach, now paying PT, all that kind of stuff. I'm fortunate to have my partners, with Tourline, with Technifiber, the YouTube partnerships that you guys see here. It's not crazy money by any means, but it helps me keep going. And to be completely honest, not playing professionally would make a ton more financial sense to me, or like even to Felix from Tennis Brothers. If you already have a following like I do, it would be so much easier for me to do a lot of coaching, do a lot of clinics, do appearances, kind of like I did in Shanghai.
Doesn't get better than that. That's crazier than getting it through.
There is an easier path for, financially making a living that is not playing professionally. But I'm not ready for that yet. Because even though I was able to turn a profit this year on court, the season to me feels like a failure. I've been very upfront here on the channel about the fact that I don't play professionally, for money or for fame at this point. This really is a personal challenge. I know that I'm sort of at the end of the road when it comes to, being able to play at the highest level I can. It's something I'm coming to terms with still, but I do want to go until, the wheels fall off, basically. I want to continue to face great players like I have been in the last 2 years here on the channel. I want to earn their respect. Like after my match with Mute, he said some really nice words at the net. It meant a lot, hearing from a player like him who's, getting a lot of wins and it's an established tour player. I think having your peers respect, it's a huge currency in sports. I think in everything, really. We all want to feel that mutual respect between, competitors. But like I said, this year, I really failed. I missed opportunities to get to Grand Slams. I often competed with not that much joy. Obviously having to deal with the injuries now. So, 2025 has left me with a really sour taste in my mouth. You gotta remember that, my failure is a little heightened these days because of the channel. I think most players in my ranking are not really dealing with that level of exposure. So I think the whole thing sort of affected me even beyond the court, which isn't great, but I do feel like I'm finally coming out on the other side and getting back that hunger, that eagerness to go and play, to go and train even. I just want to be able to go train. So yeah, kind of a tough year. Definitely, made a little more money. But it wasn't, the year I was hoping for. So thank you for sticking around through a tough year. I know the YouTube game, is always rewarding more and more. You gotta do more. I know last year was maybe a little more exciting. It was a lot of going up, but the reality is sports, it's just not like that. There's a lot of peaks, lots of valleys. I've had a lot more valleys this year. And I think it does even come across in the content. It's sometimes not as fun, but I'm going back to, trying to feel the fun of the game. So yeah, just, trying to get healthy, try to get back on court so we can do what we do here. And lastly, I just want to say, I hope this video helps fans have a little bit more empathy for players in their own journeys. Regardless of the level, it's so easy to judge players like, oh, you're complaining so much, but you make so much money. Or in my case, you will see in the comments here, well, if you're better, then you're gonna make more money. There's gonna be a lot of those coming in for sure. Process, the seasons on tour, the competition, it truly affects us, for the good and for the bad. So don't be a jerk, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't have to say anything if you're gonna be a dick. We're all trying our best, and I'm trying my best to share the story here with you. So thanks for watching. Some more fun stuff coming up here. Let's break with the darkness here and just have some fun again. And I'll see you guys on the next one.